Yo, how's it going? We're going to call this one Tale of the Tape. Okay, so make a decision that you're going to do anything from small to enormous. Write your business plan. Look at the nuance. See if the various things are in between here and yonder. So I look to the future. I want to have a house. Okay? Or I want to have lunch. Right? So it's, 10 o'clock in the morning. So I got a couple hours to drive. So I might plan something along my route to eat. But, okay, so where would I be in 2 hours? So that's probably going to be about 120 miles from here. So I pick a place to park. And then I think about, do I want to cook the steak? Do I want to eat the leftovers? What do I want to do here when I get there? That also, kind of determines where I park, right? So I made the decision to eat lunch at noon. So we got our timing, we got to pick a destination, and we got to think about what our options are. And we get all that wrote down on a piece of paper, and then we can establish where we're going to be, and then step back, all the way to I'm driving down the road talking to myself. Right? So then I can take that and I can transfer that to like a notebook or something, or maybe like a closet doorway. And you write this down on that. Get you a roll of blue tape. That's the wide tape for painting. Okay, you tear you off a strip of it, fold the little corner of it where you got a flip flap where you can rip it off. You stick that on your door frame, on your wall, on your door, whatever. The window. We used to write directions, and as we take the turn, we just pull that off or just wipe it out. We use a grease pencil on the window, but driving a truck. Well, you can do your turn-by-turn directions where you're going, right? That was before the days of the GPS. Well, the tail of the tape is your business plan, and you write down your navigational markers. Okay, so I know at this point I need to be here, be there, be here, be there, be here, be there, here, there, go. Right? And as I'm going through this deal, I can tear them off. Now let's say that it's own a house. Right? So I know I want to own a house. And let's say that I picked the property or whatever like that. And I know where it's at. And I got to be fundable to get a mortgage or whatever like that, or have the cash to get it. Either way, I'm going to have to need to be fundable at the bank. So what is that? Figure that out. Get the credit card, buy the motorcycle, build the credit, get the prepaid card, get the actual card that's not secured, get rid of the secured card as fast as possible, and then just start, building to get different stuff, reporting to the agency, get a credit card, buy lunch, make the minimum payments on that lunch, and then just never use it again, and then get another one, whatever. Build your credit. Now you're able to be fundable through, 6 or 8 years of working a job. Keep the same job, at least the same industry. Look at all the parameters of what a bank is going to look at. You know what I mean? So I can get on there, I can do the research and everything, and I can start making this plan. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, do this, do that, do that. House. Then I take this, after I'm looking at it, and I write it down as a full business plan. I'm planning to own a house. I want to do a fixed rate 15-year mortgage, because that's the only thing that makes sense, really. And I want to have a down payment, and then I want it to be in an area that is getting more valuable. I don't want to buy a house in Detroit and all the rest of the houses are falling apart, being condemned. I want to buy a house in Dallas, Texas, where the whole town is getting bigger and expanding. If I buy the field, 5 acres from the farmer, and then pay that off, keep this job over here, build this credit card, build this, build that, whatever. Actually build a house at that point by leveraging the property, because now the $40,000 worth of land is worth $100,000, affordable. So my equity in my land is my 20% to build this $400,000 house. See what I'm saying? So yeah, this is all hypothetical. You can do it however you want. But buying the land, you look for a city, you draw a circle, at 30 minutes, you draw another one at an hour and a half. And anything inside the donut, not the donut hole and not outside of the donut, but anything inside the donut, that's going to be where you can expect the value to go up, right? So, by purchasing the 5 acres or 10, whatever, not less than 5. Not less than 5. 5 you can split to 2.5. Here's a house, here's a house. You're doing really good with 5. 10 depends on how it is. Anyway, I've wrote this down. I've got this full plan. Now I can write it on a piece of tape. Go in my closet. Put it on the wall. Put it on whatever. Maybe just do it on a piece of cardboard I can take with me if I'm living in an apartment. Get a freaking Walmart box. Hang it up somewhere that you see it. Like on your door. Every day you look at this. And it's got the tape. And each step. You start at the bottom with the first step. Right? But you put your destination up here. Here's one, blah, 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 blah. And every time you reach one of them goals, you can tear that tape off of there. And save it, whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to do, I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? But being able to pull that piece of tape off, like 15 years, that might be, you got your other stuff written down or whatever else like that. But the point is, your success was you decided to buy a house. Then you're getting results of each step of the way. And also, these are milestones and navigational beacons, right? So if I am navigating towards my success, right, I need to know where I'm at. Just imagine you're crossing the ocean. You're taking a trip. It's a 15-year trip to my house. It's a 2-hour trip to lunch. It doesn't matter. Both of them are a trip. Life's a trip. This is our journey on Earth. We're flying around the sun. Whatever. The Earth is turning every day. Each day. The sun goes up, the sun comes down. The sun comes up, the sun goes down. Right? Each year, we've rotated around the sun. Whatever. Those are trips. Right? So trip plan. Plan your trip. If I'm going from England to the United States on the freaking Mayflower, it's wind power. There's currents in the ocean. I can't just go straight over there. You know what I mean? If I'm driving to a different state, the road turns and stuff. You know what I mean? But I can see the stripes in the lane. I can see the bridge height. I'm driving a truck. This one's 16'8". I know I'm on Interstate 10. I'm headed eastbound. My destination is Fairburn, Georgia. And I've been there before, so I can kind of guesstimate, what it's going to be like when I get there. And I can, of course, adjust what I'm doing. Like in the moment, like if that bridge said 13 foot, I'm really going to need to find an alternative route because my truck is 13.6. So if that's a 10-foot overpass, I cannot safely go that way. So I'm going to have to get off the road, take an alternative road, get around it, get back on this highway. At that point, I need a navigational beacon to course correct. The tail of the tape is those beacons. That is letting us know what we're doing, why we're doing it. And then if what we're currently doing, like I might have to pause my saving for a house because one of my kinfolk they need some surgery or something. You know what I mean? Life happens. You know what I mean? I might need to go get a car on payments because my cash meter literally caught on fire and burned down. You know what I mean? I am literally walking, but I have to commute for work. So in that case, I might need to take, $1,500 down and do payments. I might need to take $600 $6,000 and go buy another beater and just, have a car to drive back and forth to work. That's a giant setback towards my money to buy my 5 acres or whatever. But money to buy 5 acres is still on the board. So every day when I look at it, I see the goal and I'm like, cool, I'll have a house. And then I'll look down here and I'll see, money to buy the land so I can leverage the land to build the house. You know what I mean? And then I can start thinking about this house. Like, what do I want it to be like? You know what I mean? And start looking at different designs. Do I want to do a barn dominium? Do I want a log cabin? Do I want a standard house? And all this kind of stuff, right? So my dream up here of home ownership, you know what I mean? And the other reason why I like the land deal is if you buy unimproved land in a field, probably doesn't cost that much. By the time I'm ready to build a house on it, it's probably been, 5 to 7 years. I can see what's going on around me. Is there a lot of Walmart moving in? Well, maybe I should build a strip mall and lease out, a coffee shop, a hair salon, maybe some, small distribution of whatever goods, and do the whole back half of the strip mall a warehouse with a front office, and then office. So the trucks can come into the back, and then here's the warehouse all the way across, office for the warehouse, little spot, so they can have their little shops and stuff, with a gas station on the corner and put in some gas pumps out front. You know what I mean? So now they're stopping to get gas, getting their hair cut, buying some supplies, whatever. You see what I'm saying? And then enough room that a guy with a dually pickup and a 16-foot trailer can easily, comfortably do business. And one dock that a semi can easily get into. You know what I mean? Maybe 2, maybe 3, whatever. You know what I mean? If it turns out that this neighborhood starts going commercial, because Walmart moved in. Like right now, it's a field. There's like random cows, and you talk to the farmer, and you're like, I want to buy 5 acres off of you in that corner right over there. You know what I mean? Look around. Anyway, so 7 to 10 years later, I've been on this land. The taxes are low. It's unimproved. There's nothing to steal. The taxes are low. There's nothing to steal. You know what I mean? If there's an earthquake, fire, whatever, catastrophe, you're just taking notes. The property tax is still low. You can't mess it up. You know, maybe if it's got a lot of trees on it, maybe you can log the trees and clear it and get ready for whatever development over the course of this. Instead of cutting firewood, you cut, 11-foot logs and take them to the sawmill or whatever's appropriate, right? And the whole time you're thinking about this house that you want, you know what I mean? Maybe you want to dig a hole and, build it out with a basement, you know what I mean? Or whatever. But you got this up here as your goal of house. Okay, now you're building this thing up. Well, let's say this place goes commercial and you build this thing out and then you sell the warehouse to somebody and then keep the rights to lease the front half. You know what I mean? And then you put solar panels all over the top of it. You know what I mean? And then you start selling electricity to the shops. And now everybody wants to shop in your shop because it's free electric. And then you're selling electricity back to the state, which is really, win, which makes a lot of sense. Okay, so in the process of doing all this and visualizing and stuff like that or whatever, you wake up and you're like, you look at your mortgage, you're like, I'm going to have a house in 20 years on a 15-year mortgage that's paid off, that's worth $500,000. You know what I mean? And in the process of doing this, and that's $500 million house. You know what I mean? Other ways to fund it, how to make this property a liability or asset instead of a liability in the meantime, and then leverage this thing and learn how to work the bank system, and educate myself and buy these books and get a YouTube certification from people that say stuff, and then actually buy books and read the books that say stuff, you know what I mean? And then read the book reviews, watch the guy that says he knows everything, find out what books he's reading, apply that to myself, you know what I mean? And who wants to pay the doctor? I don't go to the doctor. Everybody I know that goes to the doctor's sick. I don't want to be sick, so work out, you know what I mean? So I wake up and I'm like, buy a house. I don't want to go jog. It's raining and cold. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go jog in the rain when it's cold because I want a house. You know what I mean? And I'm just jogging, thinking about, I better get some insulation or whatever, you know what I mean? I can't be upset. I can't be. I thought that airplane was crashing. He's landing. Wow, that's scary. You might get hit by an airplane. You never know. Anyway, so you want to write it down, and that's the tail of the tape. Okay? If I'm going to lunch, if I'm planning a 20-year goal of home ownership, whatever it is, write it down, write the navigational buoys on your tape, put your tape on your board. As you reach them, you can tear them off. About the third one, you're going to be like, sweet, I got there. You know what I mean? Maybe you write on the board a reward for yourself and then put the tape over it. You know what I mean? If nothing else, you'll get a kick out of it. You're like, oh yeah, 20 years ago when I wanted to build this house, house is paid off. And you rip that tape off there, and it's like, buy a Corvette. It's like, yeah, I paid off this house, I'm buying a Corvette. And chances are, I'm going to tell you this, if you're planning your life like this, if you want a Corvette, you're already going to have one in the driveway. It's already going to be there. So when you pull that off and it says buy a Corvette, it might be upgrade the one you got or whatever. Or it might be something silly that you don't even want no more. You know what I mean? But you're going to have that nostalgia factor of bringing it back to, where you're at. And then I feel like I should jog tomorrow. But when I wake up tomorrow, I may not feel as enthusiastic about jogging. You see what I'm saying? So as I make myself do what it takes, I'm developing discipline. You know what I mean? When nobody's looking. And the Bible says, what you do in secret, God will reward you openly. So now you got biblical stacking of your processes and wins. And you're biblically standardizing, becoming favorable in the sight of God. So now you got God's favor on this thing. You know what I mean? And He knew where He's going to end up before the creation of the earth. Right? So when you look around and you see stuff, you see the houses, you see the fences, you see the grass, the overpasses all over Texas, these giant buildings, and like a Walmart Supercenter or a Walmart distribution center, or Home Depot, and then look at these cities and all these different architectures and sculptures and the San Francisco Bridge, what is it, Golden Gate Bridge? You know what I mean? And you see all that stuff was in the ground. God made all that stuff in 6 days. He put that stuff in the earth, and people dug it up and made it happen off of inspiration, and God gave them the inspiration to do it. Those people that got inspired to do these wonderful things, that's called favor. Okay, so, you know what I mean? Go ahead and make you another one of these boxes that says, made it to the new earth. Not just heaven. Not I died and went to heaven. But the new earth. And plan that destination. What's going to happen when I die? And then after that, And then after that, and this concept of meditation, you know what I mean? So you get out here and you're walking and you're seeing the trees or whatever, and you just pick up a leaf and look at it real close and see how cool it's designed. And then think about the entirety of the earth itself and how big that is, right? That's God. Might be going to lunch, might be buying a house. He knew the destination. He made the destination before. Then he created all the stuff. So what I'm telling you is actually the way God created everything. And that just takes it to this whole other level. You know what I mean? That's just this cool factor 5,000. You know what I mean? It's just amazing to me. And I put faith in that. I see how that practically plays out. I see my little portion of it. I see my mind, will, and emotion being towards that. I see the discipleship and the discipline in the going and doing and doing and going and doing. And I have this strength that comes from that. Okay? In Ephesians chapter 6, it talks about the shield of faith. I just made a video that talks about that a little bit. It actually reads it directly to you. Stay strapped. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Because I want to go live and talk or whatever. Actually, if it wasn't for talking, once I get 500 subscribers, I ain't really worried about it. I don't do this for money. I do this for, I don't want you to go to hell. That's why I'm doing this. Anyway, I hope my children watch this. And don't suffer the way I did. I suffered a lot to get this knowledge. Anyway, make a plan, write it down, tail of the tape, after action reports, before action planning. And then I'm going to say this, and I'm going to shut up for now. The success is the decision. And then you set a goal. And then you encounter the results of your actions. Okay? So if you set your mind, that's the success. If I decide I'm going to buy a house, and 20 years from now I have a house via one of these plans, when I pay the house off, that's the result. That's the result. That's the consequences of my choices and actions. My success was making the decision. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. Okay, I'm going to say this. There's a giant part of that. You know what you need to do. You're just not doing it because you're lazy. That ain't going to cut it. That ain't going to cut it. The way that you're going to not be lazy is you've got to give yourself the crutch you need to walk on that broken leg of lazy. Lazy's like a broke leg and you're in a marathon. It's more of a triathlon. And you have a broken leg. That broken leg is called lazy. And the splint, the medicine for the pain, and the crutch is called discipline. Okay? So get wisdom, but hone discipline. Man, it's amazing. It's amazing. All right, Rock Hill, go get them. I need an outro song.